Hey guys, it's Elizabeth. I'm just fixing my hair a little bit with Double E by Elizabeth Marie. I just wanted to come on here and introduce myself a little bit more. So I do have a podcast and brand that I've been building since October of 2020 now, which is crazy to think about. I've done quite a few podcasts, kind of talking about my story and, building what I've built so far and what's growing, which I'm super excited about. But I wanted to just kind of get on here and intro myself more to my YouTube community that's building and growing and just say thank you guys for following and subscribing. And I hope you guys really like the content that I'm providing and the education and tools to help you grow. And if you have a business or want to have a business, help you grow in that respect as well. My goal is to help people grow in business and life. And so hopefully you find that on my channel. But I just want to get on here and talk to you guys a little bit today. Texas has some pretty bad allergies right now, so I apologize for that ahead of time. But I wanted to share like how I got into it and what sparked my idea for my brand and what my brand means, so you guys can have a little bit more of an idea of who you're connecting to when you connect with me on YouTube. So my name is Elizabeth Marie, and I created Double E about 2 years ago. And it was born out of an idea, an inspiration really, of just kind of being able to communicate and share people's stories, specifically entrepreneurs. I'm not sure if any of y'all are familiar with Humans of New York, but I'm originally a New York girl. My family is from Brooklyn, and I was born upstate in Syracuse, New York. And so I'm still kind of a northerner girl at heart. And I love Humans of New York. What they do is they kind of like follow around the streets of New York, and they take pictures of people and they share their story and they have them interact. And basically, whoever they meet is important. They all have a story to tell. And I loved that idea. I love that concept because I feel like there's so many people out in the world that are unheard of that need to share or have a passion that needs to be expressed. And I saw that as a way that I could do it myself through my own business. And originally, I have a love of photography, actually. And I've always loved photography. And when I was younger, when I was like 16 or so in high school, my mom and dad always said, "Oh no, photography, it's not really a career. It is more of a hobby. You can't be successful doing that." So it kind of deterred me a bit, to be honest. But I really just wanted to kind of follow my dreams with that. So it was reborn. And I thought, all right, what if I take Humans of New York concept and apply it with entrepreneurs? And I take their photos across the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and I take their picture, let's say somebody that created their own brand from the ground up or opened their own restaurant, and people just see a restaurant. They don't see that person, and I can tell their story, how they created it, what their dreams were. Maybe they were the first person of their family to start something and be brave and build a brand. Maybe they were that person to remove excuses for their family and go outside the box and start something of success, for a better future. Maybe they are hustling while they are, in school or working a full-time job, and they're having to build their business in their spare time, like I'm having to at the moment. I actually do CAD engineering software sales as my day job. Put my hat on, like my little worker bee hat, building that brand. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity and the job. And I'm blessed with an awesome boss and incredible team that allows me to help me build, Double even bigger for you guys, which I'm super excited about, all the success and the growth that we're going to have together, and just unlimited capabilities and opportunities, honestly, with Double E and where it's going. I have so many ideas, and I'm always open to more. So if you guys have specific topics you want me to talk about related to entrepreneurship, success, growth, anything positive, mindset, that's what I like to talk about, or any guests you'd like to see, or people you'd recommend that I share on the podcast that you'd like featured, or things you'd like me to talk about, like my experiences. I'm always open to feedback, and I want you guys to know that. So anyway, so I love that concept. And so I started with photography, and I was like, all right, hang on guys, let me grab my charger real quick so it doesn't die on y'all. But I started with photography, and I was taking pictures of friends, and I started a brand, a sole proprietorship called Flourish Media. And that was before the podcast Double E by Elizabeth Marie was born in 2020. So this was like maybe 6 months prior to that. And I decided, okay, let me go ahead and start with photos of friends and getting practice and things like that, so I can do that for entrepreneurs and share their story and about their business. And I thought it was so cool because with photography, really photos capture memories, they capture experiences. And I thought that it would be a really great way to encapsulate people's business, people's image. Excuse me. And I still love doing photos. I still love it to this day because I think photos are so powerful and so important, and they really share a great message. I think there's a saying somewhere, and I might botch this because I don't really remember exactly, but they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I think that is so true because it really does say something. If you ever have that, sentimental picture, or maybe a picture of growth, let's say that like maybe you all have been working out for a certain period of time and you see that before and after picture, or you see your growth growing up, or, from beginning college to graduating college and how you've changed and how you've grown, like it means a lot to you, right? Like it really feels like you've accomplished something or you've changed. And I feel like I can encapsulate that same thing with Double E with these photos. And so that's how I started. And then I actually got a job. I'm not there anymore. It was actually in the middle of COVID when I started my business, my podcast. And I worked for a small business owner in McKinney, Texas. And they own a roofing and construction company called Stryker Roofing. And they also own several other businesses. They have an insurance agency. They have a window tinting business. They have a vinyl wrap business. And they, at the time, had a window washing, and then I think they did like lights for Christmas and the holidays as well. And so I thought that was really cool. And they had a podcast room, and my old bosses actually used to have a funny podcast where they like make fun of like guys and like talk about guy stuff, like how to be a man, and like about like drinking and like fun entertainment and stuff like that. And, I can definitely talk about that on here, like my podcast episode on Dank Vodka, which you can find it on the YouTube channel too, where we talk about his brand. So shout out to Trey, amazing brand, really cool and unique. First in his industry, where he makes vodka with terpenes, which is really cool. So it's got like a lighter flavor, like a fruitful flavor. Which is awesome. And so we can talk about fun stuff like that on the podcast too. And anyway, so they weren't utilizing the space anymore. So I asked my old bosses, and I was like, hey, Johnny, like in Reed, am I able to use this room in my spare, like unproductive time? And am I able to create this brand? And so they were like, yeah, absolutely. And at the time I worked with an awesome coworker named Kaylee. She kind of helped me create the first designs for Double E. Like I had, first we were going to do 2 E's in a row, but then I was like, no, I want something more creative, more original. So I was like, all right, let me do Double E, but spell out double like DOUBLEE. And it stands for Elevating Entrepreneurs, but also a double on that through empowerment and education, which is my mission of my brand. So that's kind of how that was born, which is really exciting. And it just started small. Actually, my first interview was my bosses, Johnny and Reed, and I had them chat. So that's like the first episode ever. So if you guys want to check that out, it's on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. And y'all can listen to that first episode and kind of learn a little bit more about them. They're very successful, and I'm super thankful for them, for the job opportunity at the time, as I was a recruiter for them, and then also for allowing me to kind of like start the foundation with Double E, which is really exciting. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and just starting that there, and then it kind of birthed out of there. I just started networking, talking to entrepreneurs, sharing some of my success on the podcast. And I left that job during COVID, went to go travel a bit, which is a blast. And if I highly recommend it, if you guys haven't traveled, definitely go see the world. It's so worth it. And I think it really helped me grow as an entrepreneur, as a person, makes me stronger, makes you more well-rounded. I just love traveling, and I'm actually dating a guy that loves to travel. And I think it's so much fun because you experience it together, and you get to go to cool places and you meet new people. And I've also traveled alone. I did a couple solo trips last year. And I just think you grow so much, and you find so many cool new things. Like I did one episode recently called Just Jump, and I talk and I reference my travel to Oklahoma and Arkansas and overcoming fears. Like if y'all have fears of anything, I think it's so worthy of just getting out of your comfort zone and going after that, like I went ziplining for the first time, and I'm a big baby when it comes to heights, and I was so scared, and I went for it anyway. So y'all should definitely go out and do that. But yeah, that's how Double E was created. And that's really where it was born and where it was birthed, which is really cool. And from there, I did quite a few interviews when I was working for Striker Roofing and Construction. People would come in, they'd be guests, and they would be, coming in during my lunch break. I'd be doing stuff after work, trying to make it come together, trying to make shit happen. When you're an entrepreneur, you got to do whatever it takes, especially when you're building your own brand. You really just need to go above and beyond and just really just make shit happen, guys. Like, just do it. Just like Nike says, that's probably one of my favorite motivational quotes, because you don't really need motivation. You just got to do it. You got to believe in yourself. And I see I'm getting a couple of questions, which I'll address, but thank you so much, Adio. Like, I really appreciate that. That really warms my heart. And, my goal is just to help people. I didn't start this business to create a profit. I really did start it to generally help people, because I feel like more people need to be promoted. I feel like the world hasn't have enough people uplifting others. And I feel like there should just be more happiness spread around. You don't dim anyone else's light by making someone else's, or you don't dim your own light, excuse me, by making someone's shine brighter. There's enough success, there's enough growth to go around. And that's really why I wanted to create Double E, because I wanted to provide a platform where people can be elevated and educated, and they can really grow in a community, a network of people where we can grow and we can be inspired and we can help others and help grow their brands. Because I feel like that's just needed in a community of success as well. And I also see Caleb's messages. How old am I? I may not answer that question, but y'all are free to ask or guess. And then how do you motivate yourself when you don't feel like doing anything? I mean, I think that's a great question. And it is hard. There are moments, there are days. I'm not going to say I'm always motivated. Like, I just said that Just Do It by Nike thing. And it's so true. Like, you just have to go after your dreams, even when you don't feel like it. And honestly, I feel like I remember my big why. If you guys haven't read the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek, I highly recommend it. It's a phenomenal book, and it really just talks about kind of figuring out what your burning desire is, figuring out why are you doing this? Why are you wanting to build this life that you're creating? Really sit down and think to yourself, draw it out, look at like, what do you want your life to look like? What is your dream home? What is your dream life? Like, if you're starting a business, if you want to start a business, what do you want that to look like? Does success to you look like a family and a house and a nice car and trips and, kids? Or does success look, different to you? And it could be traveling the world with your partner and building a brand and having memories. And, everybody's different. Success to you could be doing really well at your job, but always growing yourself on the side to be the best person at that job, because that's your calling in life. And I'm no one to judge. Like, I think everybody can benefit from, my channel, hopefully, and you can apply it to work, or you can apply it to your business or your life to grow and be more successful. But But I think it's really getting down to that and remembering that why. Keep it in front of you. Like, I can show you guys real quick because I know my computer is charging right now, but I'll show y'all. On my fridge, for example, I have a couple pictures, if you guys can see. This one's actually my dream house. I don't know where this will be exactly yet, but I have a few. I want a house in more than one location, but this is definitely, I love the Spanish style. Beautiful home. I want a pool in the backyard, a beautiful view. I like being a little bit further away. I don't want to be like on top of people, to be honest. I like a little bit of space when I go home, even when I rent like apartments and stuff. I think it's really important to have a little bit of space. I like to be able to have like my moment to just kind of like breathe, be still, be myself, be able to relax and not be always like in the hustle and bustle of stuff. But when I feel like I need that city life, I can also go to that, which is nice. And then I have some travel. Like I want to go to LA this year. This is one of my goals, to travel there this year. I went to Paris this past year. And I have family in Paris, and I actually went to go see them. I plan on going back to Europe. This shirt's actually from Italy. I've been to Italy. Italy is amazing. Also went to Spain. I don't have anything related to Spain on the fridge at the moment, but I also went there. And so for me, travel is very important. So that's why I have like, little New York. I went there. I'm actually from New York, like I said a few minutes ago. So that's important. We went through Holland on our way back from Europe this year, which was cool, which is why I got that one. I want to go to Holland as well. Probably going to go back to Italy this year, but different areas of Italy. Hopefully going to Greece as well. Also going to be going to Vegas for the first time, which I'm super pumped about. And I'm super pumped to dream build there. I think dream building is really important to keep you motivated as well. I think that, looking at a car that you might want to drive, or, like we went and we looked at some houses the other day, like dream building, like, oh man, I want this house, or this is the car I want, like Carlito says, visualizations are so powerful. It's so important to envision yourself in that role. Let's say if you want a better job, envision yourself in that home, envision yourself on that trip. I think it's very, very powerful. And this is just some fun pictures, like of, went to the zoo, fed the giraffes, like just enjoy little life things, pictures that make you smile as well, I think are helpful to keep you encouraged. It's one of like my best friends. I went to go visit her in St. Louis. So it's like us at the zoo. Things like that kind of motivate me. So I think everybody's a little bit different, but that's definitely what helps me. So hopefully that helps you guys a bit. Also having accountability with someone. Let's say that like you have a certain goal or a certain deadline that you're trying to meet. Whenever you let other people know about that, I think it also helps, because you have that person that you're now responsible for. Like, you don't want to let them down. You don't want to disappoint them. And that's super helpful, I think, in terms of keeping you motivated when you're, kind of like you're stuck in a rut, or you feel like, okay, I can't keep going. Having that integrity and that accountability partner is huge. So hopefully that helps, and hopefully that answers that question, and that helps you, Caleb. Anybody else that is kind of struggling with that. But there's always, moments. And that's my goal of the Double E, is building that network to kind of keep you guys motivated, focused, having a community of other people that, are entrepreneurs or on the growth path, even if they're not an entrepreneur, that they want to be successful, they want to grow, they want to dream big, they want to do big things. So you kind of have that community. And so one of my goals is I'm working on an app for you guys. So that should help as well. So hopefully that'll come together this year. I've been working on it for a bit, so stay tuned on that. But yeah, so back to my story about how I grew the brand. So I was doing a bunch of interviews at that old job, using their extra podcast space. And then I left that job, went to go travel for a bit, kept doing interviews as well. Started doing more interviews where talks, I guess, where I'm also talking. I actually have a background in public speaking. I was actually relatively big in Amway. It's a network marketing business, which I'm not doing anymore, but I'm super thankful for the opportunity and what I learned through it. And I was able to speak in front of thousands of people. And I think that definitely developed my character, definitely helped me be confident in being able to communicate effectively and efficiently to people and kind of get my message across. I think I learned a lot of valuable traits and things there and skill sets. And so I'm very thankful for that opportunity and what I've gained in the mentorship. And so after that, I actually searched in the area, found a podcast suite to use. Actually, it's the podcast suites in Addison, Texas. Shout out to Mark. He's been amazing. I actually have an interview that I've done with him as well. Y'all should check out on my Spotify or Apple or whatever you guys listen to stream your podcasts. He's got a lot of great knowledge, and he's actually used to be a radio host and radio personality and did some fun stuff with like Cardi B and The Weeknd. And so he's definitely a good one to listen to and a great guy. If you guys ever want to use a podcast space, I highly recommend him. He's been always phenomenal and flexible with me, and just a great overall experience with working with Mark. But I use that. I also go on site. I did my first on-site interview with an old friend. He actually got kind of busy. He does some video for the Dallas Cowboys, which is a football team. So I'm actually looking for a new videographer. I've been talking to a couple people now. Also might do my own video on site, but I like to do interviews at people's location. So I actually did one at Bonton Farms. That was my first one that was double E on the road, which was a lot of fun. It's very interactive, which I enjoy. I really like seeing people's businesses, kind of like going around, promoting it that way. I can also do commercials, which is fun for people's brands. And I'm very creative, so I like to help people be efficient and kind of get growth that way. And then I also do them virtually. So like, let's say somebody is at a distance, we could, chat on here and they could get on and we can have it video recorded and audio as well, or through Zoom, or if they just want an audio version, I can do it through the app as well. So that's kind of how I've grown it. I also have done some graphic design. I've done a couple of different design shirts. If you guys ever want to support that, you can feel free to send me a message here and I can send you a link to purchase. One says Built Local, and it's got the Dallas skyline, and it says on the back, elevating you through empowerment and education. It's got my brand because we're based in Dallas, and so that's where I started everything, and that's really cool. So that's like my signature brand, and I actually designed that myself. I had a graphic designer for a bit, and sometimes you got to figure out what works for you and your business. But then I decided, okay, it was easier for me to kind of go and do my own thing. So that's when I started doing my own graphics. And I'm actually coming out with a new one, which I'm super excited about, called the Double E Network. And it's going to be a long sleeve and a crew neck. And they're black. And then it has a microphone on the back. It says Elevating Entrepreneurs. And then it says the Corporate Misfits and some other things as well in the back, which is really exciting. And that one, literally, I just got a message from Mo. So shout out to Mo. He actually has an awesome brand and it's pretty big in Dallas called Focused with 3Ds. And he does screen printing and any kind of like printing y'all need. And he's been writing a book as well. So he definitely should be on the podcast soon. So I'm working on that with him. But it's a pretty cool design and I'm really excited about it. So y'all should definitely check that out as well. And then again, like I said, I'm working on my app as well. So, and then I've started my YouTube more. Actually, I posted the YouTube, my first one over a year ago, and I just haven't been very consistent. But actually, it's funny you ask about how I met Jordan Green. After meeting him, I actually was like talking to him about YouTube and how he was growing and how he was getting so much success from YouTube. And he said it was consistency. I was like, you know what? I need to be like you and I need to start posting more and I need to get on to YouTube. And so that's when I started like posting more and kind of growing this platform. And I want to be more interactive with you guys, which is a goal of mine. Sorry, I'm going to recharge this. It's growing my YouTube, getting better, and I'm excited to see how I grow in terms of my videos and the content and how it gets better. Definitely a goal of that. But how did I meet Jordan? Actually, randomly, we met at Target. And we were actually both looking at some vegan options to make food. And he was asking if I knew about some of it. He actually got his first apartment and he taught himself to cook. And I used to be vegan. So it's kind of a random chance happened meeting. And then we started talking about different things. And then I found out that he did the YouTube. I told him about my podcast. He wanted to connect. And then we talked about collaborating. We met up, we talked about it, and then we did the podcast interview. So he's an awesome guy. Definitely recommend checking out his channel. Definitely inspires me, especially if he is only 21 years old and literally just does YouTube full time. I think that's incredible, and definitely a dream of, that opportunity for myself, or the ability to get to that point where I can, choose to work or continue just doing my own thing. So definitely. But hang tight, guys. I want to grab the t-shirt so I can just show you the double E, like the built local design, so y'all can see it. All right, sorry guys. I know it was like a bit of a delay, but this is the shirt. So this is built local, and then on the back it says "Elevating You, double E, Elizabeth Marie." So I actually made all of that. What's crazy is I originally screen printed those, which took forever, and I had a friend at the time that was helping me, and man. Hours and hours, and late at night we were working on those, screen printing and designing it, and I'm super thankful for that help that I had. But really cool shirt. Again, I'll show it to you guys. So this is the front. So it has the Dallas skyline. It says built local. So I designed this in Canva. And then the back says Elevating You, double E, and Elizabeth Marie. And actually, hand did all of those. So I would literally do the design in Canva, work with Cricut, get it printed, set up to print, then it would cut it out, and then I would actually screen print it on the shirt and let it dry. And I have a little video of that. We dried some of them with a hair dryer, which was crazy. So you got to start somewhere, guys. Now I have my friend Mo, who's able to print them. I create the design. I send him the design that I create in Canva, and I send him the file, and then he literally prints it from there. And then I just buy the shirts, provide it for him, and he prints it for me, which is a lot cooler. So saves me a lot of time. So there's improvements with business. You're going to change and grow and get better at certain things and find different ways that are effective for you. I have not interviewed Ice Cold JT, but I would love to do that. So if anybody has a connection to him, I know Jordan, I think, does. So I can definitely talk to him about it. Do you think you should run many online businesses at the same time? YouTube channels, blogs, let's start a focus on one at a time. But when I focus on one, I feel like I'm wasting time. How would you address this? Okay, Caleb, great question. I guess it really depends, what your goal is. I don't know exactly what your business is, Caleb, so it's hard for me to completely give you the best answer for this. But I would say, maybe start with one, focus, grow that, and then kind of go from there. So for me, I started with my Facebook page actually. So I have a Facebook page, EE-Elevating Entrepreneurs by Elizabeth Marie. And then I had my podcast already that I was posting, but I use a platform where it actually posts to all the other platforms. So I was already recording that and editing that, and then I was just sharing that on Facebook. And then I started my Instagram afterwards, and then I started my YouTube after that. So, and now I'm kind of keeping up with Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then the platform Anchor that I create all of it and it posts to everything. And you can also schedule posts. So I definitely recommend that. Scheduling saves me a lot of time. And then planning out my weeks. So like today, I have Wisdom Wednesdays every single Wednesday where I take a quote from a interview that I've done or a talk that I've given, and I reference that and then make that the Wisdom Wednesday. And so planning out kind of what your week looks like, when you're going to do stuff. I want to get to the point where I'm releasing a podcast episode every single week. I was doing pretty well for a bit. Sometimes people had to reschedule, but I have a bunch of content coming up for you guys soon, which I'm super excited about. Neil Kaiser and I are doing another interview coming up. I'm doing an exciting one with Taylor, which I'm super pumped about her business because she helps people scale their businesses and figure out where they're being effective and how they can be more effective. And then I have an exciting one with my friend Jeff. He actually has a sports podcast. So that's coming up as well. And he actually is going to be doing some stuff with the NBA. So I'm really excited to have him on the podcast and share about how he built his brand and he built his podcast. But yeah, I think that's a great question, Caleb. I don't know if that answered your question, but hopefully it did. I always think, there's a great book called The One Thing. And if you read that book, I think that might help you. But I definitely recommend, focusing on one thing. Yes, I did go to college. I went to the University of Texas at Dallas. It's in Richardson, Texas. And I graduated with a degree, a bachelor's of arts in psychology, and I have a minor in neuroscience. And so I was actually going to go to school for medicine. I was pre-med, but I switched it to psychology. I actually got a scholarship, an academic scholarship for college, and I was in a pre-health LLC, and I was in a sorority and had a few responsibilities in the sorority. I was a mentor. I was director of scholarship. Super nerdy, can you tell? I like education and learning. Part of my channel, I guess. Everybody has their own personality, but I also like having fun. Sorority, kind of best of both worlds. And then I was in a research lab. I was published for obesity studies and infant attachment studies with Dr. Holub called the Healthy Development Lab. Very interesting. And I really love psychology. I like learning and, figuring out why people do what they do and studying people and growth and business. And anyway, I took some business classes and really liked that and kind of changed things a little bit, my direction, obviously, to entrepreneurship. I have worked tons of jobs and realized, nothing against it. I mean, I'm super thankful for the job I have now. And I actually have a job where my boss does listen to my advice and I've helped him tweak little things to improve different pieces of his business. I work for an entrepreneur. My last job was for an entrepreneur because I relate to entrepreneurs, I guess. And so for me, it's like really, really important to, be in entrepreneurship, I guess. And so I'm thankful for my college degree. I'm thankful for my college experience, but I don't think you necessarily need it to be successful. I think it really depends on what you're doing. Like, if y'all are wanting to be something specific, like if you want to be a lawyer or you want to be a doctor or an engineer or something where it really requires you to have it, then absolutely, like, I think that's vital to your success. But, if it's something like entrepreneurship or you're going to build your own thing or it's a trade that you can learn or teach yourself, then I think YouTube has amazing content. Google, there's books out there, you can shadow, you can find a mentor, which is another goal of the app. I want to, provide mentorship for you guys and my brand and my channel with double E with that as well. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, psychology is hard, but actually a lot of people like psychology in like HR positions, sales positions, because you're good at like working with people. So I think that's really good. In accounting, nice. Accounting is good. Not my strength, to be honest. I have somebody that does my taxes for me. He does my personal and business taxes yearly, and that's just easier for me. I keep things separate, but I think that that's helpful. Do you run out of things to say when you're talking to someone? They go really quiet when find people, especially online. I mean, we all have our moments, right? Do you? Like, I think, it depends. Sometimes I'm thinking and I'm thinking of a response. I mean, I think I also, when I'm having a conversation with somebody, I'm also listening to them. I'm a really good listener. I really care about what people have to say, what they think, what they feel. Relationships are really important to me, especially the ones I'm close to. I have a very small circle of people that I have very intimate relationships with, probably like 3 or 4 people maybe. And so I really, really care about them. And overall, I care about everyone I'm friends with, of course, in my interactions with them. Where was I going with that thought? Or, but it's okay. We all have our moments, right, where we mess up or we can't think, or we're like, oh shoot, what was I saying, or where was I going with that? And that's okay, but yeah, and I try to plan like what I want to talk about ahead of time and things like that. I think it's really important to kind of have that in mind so I know where I'm going, what direction wise and everything like that. But yeah, so I'm really excited. If you guys have more questions, I'm probably going to stop the live in a second. I'm actually going to do a post for my Wisdom Wednesday and go and get a workout in, trying to be healthy, trying to balance everything before I go relax and enjoy a movie later. But yeah, you guys keep going for your dreams, keep going for your goals. If you guys have other questions, I can definitely answer them later. I just wanted to get on here and kind of share some of my story, kind of where I come from, kind of how Double E was built. I'll definitely do another live soon where I can talk more about, my background, more about me as a person, so you guys can get to know me and my personality, or you're going to get to know me, I'm sure, through more and more of the videos that I'm going to do, because I definitely want to be more active on here. But I'm always open to feedback. Like if you guys have any questions, suggestions, I'm trying to grow here and trying to help you guys and, help the world. That's the goal of my podcast, which is another reason I decided to go away from the Amway business and switch into doing this, because in Amway, I felt like I could only help that arena. And with this, I feel like I can help across the world. And for me, that's way more powerful and important. It's just really helping everybody out that I can. And I saw this as a way to do that and a platform to do that. So anyway, I hope it helps you guys. Y'all are awesome. Keep going forward. Keep going with whatever your goals and dreams are. Keep things in front of you like I showed you guys on my fridge. Keep an accountability group if that's what helps you. Subscribe to me, listen to some of the people I've had on my podcast and my interviews so you can learn from them. Whatever kind of helps you guys just stay on track. But I definitely recommend finding that and sticking to it. And I hope it helps you guys. But anyway, y'all take care. Have a great evening, and I'll be in touch soon. Bye.